So, in my previous video, I showed and demonstrated some of the things that I was trying to explain, to share with you about these fields. Basically, there's different levels. And we spoke about the conscious mind being a 10,000 bits per second computer. Then you have the unconscious mind being a 4 million bits per second computer, basically a supercomputer. And then I spoke about the unconscious, but we didn't go much into the unconscious. And but it doesn't really matter that much to go too much in the unconscious. But what the point is, though, is that if you look at this diagram that Mr. Keshe used, and that I'm now using as a model as well, because it's beautiful, because it is this Fibonacci sequence and stuff like that, all these structures, the way they are shaped in the universe, sacred geometry in a way, right? And this model works because you'll see that if this is the taking and this is the receiving, basically. This is the giving and receiving. So if you give by giving up, the biggest giving you can do is giving up of self, which is not the higher self, but I mean giving up of the personality, the concepts, the ideas, the limiting beliefs, all the personal stuff, like being religious in any way, like I'm this, I'm not that, I'm an American, or I'm a Norwegian, or I'm a whatever, I'm a Jew or a Muslim or a Christian. All these superficial structures that keep you personal are the ones that are shielding you from the deeper levels of being. So when you shed all these limiting beliefs, all these structures that keep you in place, you start to become a deeper being. You start to become more profound, and therefore you attract the more deeper levels. And you'll see automatically that you can never know this level, the level that's in a deeper spiral, if this is covering it. You have to surrender. You have to give up this nonsense, this clutter of the mind, this conceptual, intellectual structure around, to go deeper. Because if something wants to look at this level, something that's on the line over there, the deeper levels of being, it won't be able to see it because all it sees is this. And this is why when you argue with people that are still intellectual and they are not open-minded, as we say, the reason is they can't. Whenever you mention anything about God or life or truth, or even a simple thing like a piece of furniture or a computer, or start talking politics or religion, and you're really screwed. They can't see beyond what is there. If they're looking from here, and you're talking about something that's over here on this line, it's being covered for them. For them, they're over here. That's why they said, don't cast pearls before swine. You'll have endless discussions with people. And most of you had that, probably like I had as well, especially in the past. It's much better now for me, but with family and friends. Because they say, if you think you're enlightened, go live with your family for a week, right? Well, the point is that if you are in a way more profound, if you've shedded some of this nonsense and you see the more deeper levels of existence, then when you speak to people that don't, they can't see what you're speaking of. Because they're so solid, they're so dense, they're so materialistic that whenever you speak a word or a few words or a few sentences, it bounces off of what they already know as a concept, as an intellectual idea, instead of just being able to see and listen and be still and be open to what you're saying and let whatever is being said come in and penetrate them. They're unable to let it penetrate them because they are seeing their own concept before they're seeing what you're saying. They don't have enough stillness. They don't have enough silence. They don't have enough peace inside their body. They have too much dense, lower levels of energy. And that's not to make them worse or you better and to be arrogant, but it's more to give them compassion. They don't need you bashing them, telling them, you have to see what I can see at this level over here, because this is the level that matters. The world is being manipulated and la 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 la. What they need is compassion. Because when you open up by giving up, by surrendering even to the stubborn ways of people and family members not seeing it, you become more serene. You become more compassionate. You become more loving because you're giving up even the need to try to convince somebody who can't be convinced of what you're trying to convince them of. They need to do, if they want to, and if they're ready to, if they're capable of, to be still, to be silent, to be at that point in their life where they want to surrender and find a deeper truth than just the mental aberration, the mental concepts, the world of ideas and beliefs and those structures. They need to want to and be at the point in their life of being able to and willing to surrender. And if they're at that point and you can help them, sure. But most of the times being compassionate and loving and surrendering is much more efficient than trying to bash it in, because you won't be able to get the pigs, the swine to appreciate the pearls. And this is not to be offensive in a way. It's of course a bit of a sensitive way to put it. But don't cast pearls before swine is a beautiful statement in a way to say, don't try to spoon feed people something they're not ready for. This is way too fine. This is not twice as intelligent or deep or profound. This is, like I said, exponential. You go from 10,000 bits per second conscious mind to 4 million unconscious. And you're probably going to go to 100 trillion in the unconscious. So you go from conscious, subconscious, unconscious. The deepest of them all, like Ramana Maharshi and the really, really deeply surrendered people, they are really deep inside that spiral. They've surrendered so much to the knowing, to the I know what it's all about, to all the mental concepts, that they are so surrendered and so deep that they know and see worlds that are not physical, that are not, have no color or taste or size or dimension. They're not even in time. It's all timeless. When you shed the conscious mind and you go to the subconscious, you already have from a time frame, which is the conscious mind, where everybody believes that they live in time and, you know, yesterday and tomorrow, which is living in the past. When you go to a deeper level of the subconscious, you already get to the level of living in the moment, being here, being present. Because in fact, in the absolute sense, there is no time. There's only this infinite, eternal moment, which is now. Now, people can't understand it because the mind functions at 10,000 bits per second, and that mind says, what are you talking about? There's no time. I mean, look, I'm over here, the pen is over here, and now the pen is over here. You know, and now I 1, 2, 3, 4, you know. So, but there's only this. There's only this. There's only this. But they remember through memory, which is the function of the 10,000 bits per second conscious mind, the more lower levels of existence, and they see, well, of course there's time, because yesterday we were talking, and last week I was over here and over there, and I remember. Well, yes, you remember, which is a function in the 10,000 bits per second, but in the absolute sense, you're here, and here, and here, and here, and here is always here and never was anywhere else. There was no second ago, minute ago, hour ago, year ago, or million years ago. There was no Big Bang in the past. There's only now. But people that are not deep enough yet, haven't shed enough of these concepts, are functioning still from the 10,000 bits per computer. And they can't go beyond it. But we, the people who understand this, and who are ready for this, we need to grasp that we are the profound being within. We are this eternal spiral which just gets deeper and deeper and more profound as you go inside to the more, you could say, fine or dense in a way, at the same time, deep, real realities that are here inside this cone as infinitude. Just like we are, a molecule is the same kind of expression that is the Earth in the solar system, right? But more complex, and this is the same kind of structure. As you go deeper within, it becomes finer, and it becomes more profound and more wise and infinite. And we who know that, we who are able to recognize that, should see that, because what it does, it gives you the capacities to surrender. When you know you're not just the mind. Most people, when they start meditating, they're afraid of going within, because they only know the mind. They only know the chattering monkey mind, which is always voicing everything, has opinions about everything, to try to keep it in a false security. A fake security of, I know what it's all about. It's about Mohammed or Jesus or whatever, right? All these structures that this is how it is, or science says it's molecules and it's a physical world and a Big Bang was the one that created it. All this knowing, this arrogance, keeps you bound in that low realm of 10,000 bits per second computer. An amazing part of life, part of the universe, but a lower realm, a much slower computer that works at so little bits compared to the higher ones. And so those who know, well, when you know that you are the deeper levels, and there's nothing to be afraid of, then there is no fear to stop thinking. There's no fear to let go of who you think you are. The fear drops away, because you now know another place where you much rather be, because in this place, this is the mental realm, right? This is the mental realm. When you get much more deep inside, you get to this realm of being, and that's where bliss. That's where love, that's where real compassion, real joy, real beauty, well-being, real love exists. It doesn't exist in a way that this pen exists. It exists in a much finer way. Like they speak about plasma nowadays, that plasma is something you barely can't measure or see or do anything. That because it's not there, it doesn't have a color, it doesn't have a smell, it doesn't have any weight. It can't be really measured probably in ways that we have found yet to measure it. Maybe we will. But the point is, it doesn't even need to be measured. Why? Because it's so fine compared to the objective world. The tangible, touchable, seeable, smellable world of the five senses, which by the way is extremely limited anyway. You know, we only see almost nothing of the spectrum of light, let alone other energies that we don't even know about. So for us to know and to be and to go deeper, it is very important that we start seeing that as you surrender the thinking, the constant wanting to work things out at the 10,000 bits per 10,000 bits per second computer level, if you surrender that level, you'll automatically drop down into a deeper level of being. A level where, from which all peace and harmony emanates without having to do anything. You don't have to go out and create a better world. You don't have to build better schools. All those things might happen at this level of existence. When you're in that place, that's what you'll see with the real gurus, the real teachers, the real enlightened ones, the real realized people. They don't do really actively and think how they're going to work this out and plan and make statistics. It just emanates from them, because from that level you are the embodiment of love, of compassion, of a deeper knowing, and from it just oozes out love, compassion, serenity, stillness, silence, joy, blissfulness. That's the realm where that exists. It's just well-being. You're there. The living one. And we are all that living one. It's not Jesus, it's not Muhammad, it's not Krishna, it's not Buddha that can do it. They're not special in that way. They've just done it. They've left behind that 10,000 bits per second conscious mind, this slow processing computer of this thinking mind. We're willing and able to surrender that and see what they are when they leave it. And what you are is still this awareness, presence, consciousness itself at a deeper, more profound level that cannot be measured and seen, but can definitely be direct experience, Gnostic knowledge. It's you. You're it. You don't need to work it out. You're just it. And somebody who's not it, who's at that level, can never see it. They will ridicule you. They will always ridicule you, because they just see the things, the measurable things, the thoughts in their head, the voicings. So you're talking about this realm, and they're like, yeah, this guy is really drifty, airy, spiritual nonsense, you know? And sure, a lot of spiritual stuff is nonsense, because there's a lot of chatter in the mind with concepts and beliefs and books that people read. And so many of the spiritual stuff, including much of the yoga that people practice, is just a really superficial level of the mental realm of the conscious mind at 10,000 bits per second. Lots of talk, you know, but little being, surrendering, silence, stillness, and dropping down into that next level. But for those who can hear me, I hope it helps to see that surrender is nothing to fear, because you'll drop deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into the ever-present silence of infinitude, the eternal being of God, life, universe, the source. You just surrender more. Be still. Be still and know that awareness, I, presence, is itself the whole, is itself God, the universe. Be still, because stillness is still the way.